Hey, it's Amanda, and you are watching a segment from 100 videos in 100 days. This started out as a challenge to myself to prove that freedom can come from authenticity and vulnerability, and that life doesn't have to be perfect or look perfect, it doesn't have to feel perfect to be valuable, to really be valuable. And that you don't have to wait to share your gifts till it all looks a certain way. And this is also about what the cost is of waiting to share your gifts. I didn't have a YouTube channel before this. I never did a video of myself. I didn't even like to see myself in camera. So am I scared every time I do this? Yes. But I'm here. I'm showing up, because I'm committed to this conversation about freedom. And the freer I get, I believe the freer you will get. So I invite you to participate as you can. There's no editing here. I get one take. So if it all goes to hell, you go with me. There may be swearing, there may be crying. I may get up and walk around. It's the game. It's authentic and vulnerable. I will look different every day. So that's really the point of it, is in life there's no editing, there's no redos. So who are you going to be? How are you going to show up? What would that look like? And what would be possible if you just showed up exactly as you were and let the cards fall? Would that be freeing? It is to me. And if it is to you, I hope you get something out of these. If there's anything that I say that rubs you wrong or feels off, discard it immediately. It's not for you. It's for whoever needs it, and most likely for me. So when this turns off and the next one turns on, I will be sitting here quietly with my eyes closed. You're not walking into any special session that you're not supposed to see. Everything's transparent here. So I started this to have context in the beginning, because I can see people are jumping in the middle of the series, and I just want to make sure everyone feels included. So I will see you soon. Sitting here feeling like I'm trying to get more in my body. Because when I say to feel what you're feeling, usually there's a description that can go with it. Happy, sad, mad, whatever. And started about 2 days ago. I'm in some ways, for most of the time, I don't have a word. I don't have a description for it. So part of me feels a little unnerved because I don't have words for it, and my mind is also like, okay, well, we've gone as far as what we can share, what we know, or that was kind of back here in the background that you've kind of figured out and you've shared. Now we're to where we're at the edge of the cliff and we don't know. We don't know. Because what's come up the last, week is stuff that I haven't necessarily been taught, I haven't necessarily heard. There are things that came up inside me over the years, but I didn't have a context for them. I just knew that lots of things things I've learned about or places I've gone, they've all been extremely helpful. And then there was always something that was just a little bit off for me, meaning they didn't go into feeling feelings like this, or they didn't go into discussion of happiness. I know part of that is, well, one, I don't think maybe they know. And the other thing is, because I actually have asked some of them, why, if we're questioning sadness, why aren't we questioning happiness? You have to take both. And what that means is you either have both and they vacillate between each other and that's how you experience it, or you question both and remove them and then you have presence. So that's really, if there's a goal, I guess that's it, to learn to be really connected to each emotion and then actually question if that's real too. And then once you've got familiar with all of them, then you know where to go and what to question because you're not afraid of them. And so if they're empty, right? So if you're empty of all emotion, people think, well, then you'll be numb or you'll be complacent or you won't move. No, you just become in a whole new place of awareness and presence, which is literally just love. Does that mean you wouldn't have a preference or opinion or whatever? You'll just do it in emotion. You won't have a conversation in your head about it the same way. It may go on, it may come up, and you're just in motion. So it's like how animals are, right? Two cats that meet, they go up and they might sniff each other, they might whatever, or they might just have a spat like that and they go off, but there's not a conversation before. It's just emotion. A dog likes its food or it doesn't. It doesn't sit there and tell you about it. It just likes it or it doesn't. And it's irrelevant. This gets a little technical. I guess it's, again, why I'm writing, so I can dedicate a whole thing to this. But so not only is my mind like, we don't know where to go, like we don't have any information to fall back on. It feels very bizarre. And not only that, like what I feel like in my body is, if you lean up against something for a long time, let's say there's a thick rope or barrier and you're leaning and pressing up against it for a long time, and when they let go of it, you fall forward. And not necessarily the feeling of like your stomach jumping, but just that, I don't know, I guess when the tension's released, that's how it feels in my body. So there's a weird weightlessness to it. Like, I feel like I've lost 50 pounds and I'm small. So it's almost like I don't have words for some of this. And last night it felt a little tricky because I went out with my kids and nephew and my son's girlfriend, and what I noticed was I could hear the conversations, I could read them in a text, I could do all that, but I didn't have the same attachment. Like I wasn't sinking into their conversations. Like when you watch a movie, you get so into the movie, you're just like this. I mean, I am. Don't ever go to a movie with me unless you want screaming, yelling, crying, whatever, because I'm in. And that's how I've kind of been in life, is I'm so in that I forget it's not me. And now I can see the difference, not all the time, but a large portion of time, I can see the difference between myself and the conversation. Oh, even now I feel weird. I'm not in danger. I'm safe. I just, feels like all the work and things I've been doing up to this point all kind of connected, and then that someone released the tension. And so now I'm just in this space, and so my body and mind have actually need to readapt in some way, I guess. Like when you turn the GPS and it's got to catch up, that's what's going on here. So while I could understand my daughter's upset, and I could understand her anger and her frustration, and I could have compassion for it, it felt comical in a way, or I don't know, that's not the word either, because it's not a unkind way of being, but I could see that she believed what she was saying, and it was like it was cute, like when a little kid is really upset and they're screaming, yelling, crying, but you can only kind of like I know you're really upset, and I know you think that's what's going on, or I know you think that will make you feel better. But as a parent, you can sit and observe, and you can love them, you can cheer for them, you can love them, but you know that what they're upset about isn't real. And so it's okay. But then my mind is telling me, like, but if you can't feel exactly what, like, in the movie with them, then they're not going to want you around. You're not going to be able to relate. And I feel like I can relate because I've had those experiences, and I feel like I can have compassion for it, or I can appreciate it. I just don't take it on. I don't experience it the same. Which allows me to be of much greater service to people, because if they ask me a question, I can tell them the truth. Right? At least my version of it. Or maybe what they really need to hear, and not my twisted version, so that they don't feel pain, so that I don't feel pain. Because I don't have the same relationship to pain that I've had for 45 years. Pain is like when you're driving down the highway in the middle of the night and you start to doze off and you hit those bumps, they wake you up. That's exactly what pain is. And when you're driving, it might be like, oh, ooh, we hit those bumps. But you're grateful that you hit the bumps because it woke you back up. If you're happy, happiness is like driving off the highway and just going into, bouncing around out in the desert. Not a care in the world, but it won't actually get you where you want to go. It's the combination of both that keep you towards your destination. And yet when we talk about pain, we talk about, like, you don't have the experience when you hit those bumps. Like, I never want to feel that again. I never want to feel those bumps again. You're just like, I hope that they're there for me if I doze off again. And that's all it is. It's those bumps. And you're grateful for the bumps when you're driving. Well, you're driving this vehicle that interacts with every other vehicle around here. So it's good to have the bumps. And it's fun to have the off-roading. The off-roading or happiness is a vacation from here. It creates balance. Here it can be stressful, it can be heavy, but it alters your life. That's where technology comes from. That's where solutions come from. That's where insights come from, is over here. And over here is the break. Because we all need a vacation, and that's the mind's vacation. That's the mind and soul combo vacation. We've got depression, stress, fear, challenges, all this stuff over here. And over here we get vacations. So we think, well, I want to be on vacation all the time. Maybe you had to do something to probably get on vacation in the first place. No one just shows up at vacation. And if you're on vacation all the time, you probably get bored. Because, it's like going to the top of a skyscraper and the view's beautiful because it's the first time you've seen it. But if you see it every day, you stop seeing it. Like I think I shared in the beginning, like when you get a new magnet and you read a quote that just really strikes a chord in you, put it on the fridge and you won't see it within a week. Your mind adapts to it, and so it doesn't see it anymore, it discards it. That's what vacation's like. If you're happy all the time, you get used to that state, and the mind will actually get bored, and so it'll keep going between the two till you encompass it all. And once you encompass it all, it can actually kind of disperse too, and then there's a new experience of presence. And if that's what I'm experiencing at all, it feels, I can't say it's a blissed feeling. I don't have a word for it. Maybe I'll come up with one. Just thinking yesterday after I talked about happiness and fulfillment, that it's really about full field. F-U-L-L and then F-E-E-L, fulfill. If you're full, whole, connected, you've got, we talk about after an injury, what do you work on? Getting full range of motion, and there's a joint. Except we're taught, just focus on that emotion over there. Just be happy. just find joy, just be grateful. It's not full range of emotion. So you'll get stuck. Or you won't actually have the same strength you did before you lost that range of motion. I really don't know what to say beyond this. So I think I'm just going to leave it here and just keep kind of letting myself settle in. I could see why people that have written books like what I'm talking about, or that have actually put themselves through experience, it's not just a cognitive, like, I'm going to write all these great stories, but actually put themselves through this. You see why they need to be alone. It's not because they're hiding from people. It's very hard to explain what you're going through, and you really have to honor the experience of it. And not let the mind make you feel weird or freaked out or creepy. Or posted on Facebook yesterday about stepping away from, your herds or your tribes while you really work on something that's really deep in yourself, because your mind it'll grab out and say, well, we need to still be like them, we need to still be like them. Like when I went out to the movie last night, it was like, well, you're not going to be able to relate. Like if you don't feel pain when you read this text, how are you going to relate? I mean, they're going to know you're not feeling pain the same. So, Houston, we have a problem, as they're going to kick us out. Maybe, I don't think I would have the same fear around that. Because once you start experiencing truth inside yourself, to sell that out is tough. And it's why you got to get your sea legs, so that you can build that strength for yourself. Because the mind will try and undermine the whole thing. And I expect a big wave of ego to come rushing at me as some last-ditch efforts to stop this process. So lots of body pain and emotion and maybe even problems occurring. I don't know. But when you sink down to underwater, the bubbles come up, and that's all the emotions, memories, thoughts that it needs to still keep kicking up. But because I'm practicing this, I'm getting facile with that. So, am I clear about things all the time? No, but it's becoming a large portion of time. I know a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm basically reteaching myself. Like I'm teaching it here, and then I reteach it. I was thinking about this morning, because people ask me every once in a while what I'm doing, and gibberish comes out, because I'm like, this thing and stuff, and yeah, I've got to get my sea legs to even know what I'm saying to people. Like, I need to just honor the experience of it. And today I thought, I'm basically a reteacher. That's what I am. I'm a reteacher. I'm teaching what my soul knows to myself. So I'm teaching it twice. And then I guess anyone gets something from this, then you're learning something. But you're learning something. No, you're not learning something. You're remembering something. I'm just basically showing you a scrapbook of memories you forgot. And the memories are how your soul actually operates, or the combination. We've been just misled is all. And that's just because we have humans that are run by egos trying to teach us, and they haven't done the work to be able to actually teach us. They're just off the cuff, and we're taught what our parents taught us, and what they know, and what they heard, and what they read, and what made sense, and what seemed to be more acceptable, and it's all fine. It's all just part of pain, and it's just the bumps in the road that wake us back up. And we're infinite beings that don't need to be afraid, but we need to be afraid to remember we don't need to be afraid. So the next 51, or what is it, 61 days, however many days, this is going to be really interesting, because I have no idea what in the hell. It isn't like it feels so scary, like, oh, I can't do it. It's just, I have no clue. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have a point of reference for anything beyond this point. And my ego is not liking that. It just feels like a free fall. And it's not even like jumping off the skyscraper now or the cliff. It's just freaking free fall. I don't know. And that's okay. So the feeling is, I don't know. Maybe that's what this feeling is, I don't know. In the space of not knowing and nothing, anything can be created. Then I have a choice to create. Because I don't have a point of reference for why I can and can't do something. I can just be in motion when it calls me to be in motion. I have to set a goal to be in motion. You just be in motion. It's all the backwards thinking of how to live. Kind of like all the doctors told me to give my kid sugar. It's diabetic. So I did the opposite. Got well. So consider if the society is pushing a feeling on you or a way to live. Consider the source, because the source isn't well. The source is run off ego. You don't have a happy, thriving, free-feeling society. You have a society that wants everyone else to feel like them and then give us a goal that's actually a decoy. I was thinking why happiness gets sold the way it does. And the reason is because happiness creates self-containment. I don't have to control someone that's happy. There's no threat of me feeling pain. If a little kid's happy, they're sitting there coloring, they're watching a show, they're playing with their little friend, and as a mom, I don't have to worry about it. You okay? Yep. You happy? Yep. Okay. There's nothing I have to do. And there's not a kid that's me in my face throwing a fit, going, I'm bored, I'm tired, I don't want to do this, this is so stupid, I hate her, whatever. And then a feeling of pain comes up in me, and then I have to shut down her pain to shut down mine. Happy is a different form of self-delusion. So I was saying yesterday, when you think about happy, because you're thinking it, you're not feeling it. You're thinking about happy, and when you're thinking about it, you're the superhero of the story. Except you don't even really have challenges. You notice how everything is so easy when you're happy in these thoughts? Because it's the projection of happy. It's the story of happy. You feel like you're in a music video when you hear music, and you're just the sexiest, hottest, most beautiful, charismatic, amazing, talented creature that ever existed when you feel happy. And that's a vacation. But you don't see yourself working through challenges, and you don't see, well, except if you do, it's like you're bulletproof, like I can handle anything. So it's a delusion. Fun. Super fun. All right. I'm going to be here and go back, which I don't know, because that's what's showing up.